the ultimate pocket hole base. Do I need to do this? No. Does it need to be this complicated? Absolutely not. Am I gonna make it this complicated? Yeah. Alright, I need to grab the dimensions of the hole locations here. Center hole, center hole. I could just measure those and eyeball them. I mean, it doesn't need to be that close, but let me show you guys a little bit of a trick. So I got two gauge pins, let's see, 217 thousandths and 216 thousandths, and they fit in here. That one is actually kind of the right fit. This one's a little tight, but it's fine. It fits in there. And you can see they're in there. Good fit. So on average, let's just call that 216 thousandths. I'm going to take my caliper. Clear it out. And I'm going to dial in one of those pins. Sure. 216.5. And I'm going to zero it again. So when I close, I'm at minus 216. Then what I can do, see if I can kind of make that easy to hold. Now I can measure across the pins. I'm not sure if you can see it. Measure across the pins, look for the highest point, 206.03, and that's actually the measurement center to center, because I essentially subtracted two radiuses, one from each pin, by dialing the diameter of one pin. So 5603 is that center to center distance. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to write that down before I forget that. 5.603, and then I can, I can put this over here and then measure this. I already still have my minus 216.5, 2.716. And that's that dimension. So it's a good trick to have. Put it in your bag of tricks. Alright, onward. Alright, I've taken each of these plates and put a radius on them, a half-inch radius. Kind of give them a little Art Deco thing when I assemble it. Make it all cool. So I've done all the plates, both ends except for one. Now I'll show you that one. Here we go. It's got this square corner here. I'll go ahead and put a radius on it. I'm using my vise stop kind of unconventionally in that, because there's a radius over here. Let me just put you handheld for a second. Because there's a radius over here, I can't, go hard against the stop, and I can't point because I know I'm not going to point on the same part. So what I'm doing is coming up and touching the bottom edge of the part real lightly, and that seems to be working fine. Oh, it's kind of awkward working around you, sorry. So I'm leaving about 50 thou on the transverse axis plus the Z, and then I'll come leave 10 thou, and then a final finish. Kind of babying the tool, but that's okay. Cutting about 4 inches a minute. Alright, about 10 thou on Z and on X. And again, feeding 4 inches a minute. And here will be the final. You can see there's a little bit of an edge not cleaned up right here. And here it looks a little sharp. It'll blend right in on this final pass. There you go. Silky smooth. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like it bows out here a little bit. It's actually because this piece of aluminum is slightly warped from the mill. And when you're cutting a radius like that, it's extremely sensitive to thickness variations and length changes if you're using a stop. So something to keep in mind. I'm gonna sand all this in and blend it all in because this is more like a decorative piece. It's no big deal. But I don't know if anybody else would ever notice. Alright, on to the next step. Alright gentlemen, this is where we are right now. I worked on this a little bit without you. So I took this main long plate here and put it in that 5-hole pattern. You know, drill and counterbore for these socket head cap screws, these metric ones here. And then go ahead and you know, I just put the feet on together and screwed it in, mocked it up real quick. So this is what we got right now. You can see that, and the 3 feet here. and then the Kreg K4 sits here in the middle. I put this in place and then just transfer punch 2 holes because I had a clearance 2 holes here. You can see that clearance 2 holes through this, so I just transfer punch that. And that's where we're at. So it's all going together good. Now we're kind of on the last steps. I have this rail that I showed you, this aluminum rail, and with the tracks that fit on it. These little guys, these little carriages that fit in it. So we're going to do that next. It's a 100mm rail. That's the length I got. And so if I had 50mm each side, this is about 57mm roughly, or about 22 inches on each side. So there's 50. That would fit fine, right? That's plenty. I don't need it to be right close here. So it's got to be plenty. So I'm going to go ahead, take my 100mm rail. I just measured real quick, so 50mm is right through this center screw hole. I also noticed that the distance from this edge to this hole and this edge to this edge is not consistent. So I'm going to cut this right in half here, go on the mill, clean it up so that this to this is consistent and this to this is consistent, and then I'll just clean up something on both sides. I'll get rid of that hole right there. So I'm going to throw this in the vise. And I'm just going to do this quick and dirty because I know I got to come in here and machine this all off. I'm going to have to move you, sorry. So let me just rip this right off real quick. There we go. 2 pieces of rail. Go cut them up. Okay, quick trip to the milling machine. Now I got 2 pieces of rail, identical length, within a couple. I did it real fast. And same distance, this edge to the center of the hole on both. Alright, so let's see how we want to do this. Wow, check this out. I don't think you guys can see this. Let me take you handheld real quick. Just mocking that up. Look at that. Center of that screw could be right there. And that would be pretty nice. That's completely unplanned. Completely unplanned. But let's see what that looks like just for, you know, fun. I don't think this screw is quite long enough to catch those threads. It's not. Alright, but check that out. Yeah, let's do that. That's super simple. I got a reference already in this plate, which is this hole. Done. Just do it on the bolt spacing off of that, or not bolt spacing, but screw spacing off of this. Go towards this end, and we're rocking. Now, just to make sure I like it, what if we flipped it over and did this? No, I like it this way better. Bam, gonna go right there. Alright, let me break this all down real quick. We'll throw this up in the mill. I'll show you guys how I'm going to do this. I'm doing this kind of quick and dirty, but it'll be fine. Match the spacing. Drill and tap this thing. Then we're done. I mean, I'm gonna clean all this up, maybe Scotch Brite or sand it or something. Maybe even clear it, and we'll be ready to go. Most ridiculous Kreg base ever. Ah, I almost forgot. We're going to have to make the little carriages that go on top of this. We're not done yet. Alright, next step. Alright, I got the big old plate here. I just got 2 screw jacks under there. One here and one here just to help support that weight. And I'll just move this along. So we got 8 holes to do between here, and then another 8 from that end in to go with the rail. The spacing from this hole on is 60 millimeters. That's what that rail is. It's metric. So I know which side of this part was in here when I machined this earlier. It was this back side, and I know I came off this end, and it was 2 inches in and 2 inches over. So I'm just going to edge find again this edge and this edge, and that'll get us within 2 thou probably of that hole. We'll double check it real quick, and then we'll set it up just to hit this drill and tap for the metric size tap screws that we have, and we'll rock and roll. Alright, edge finder in, using in the drill chuck, just going fast. I'm not too worried about being that exact here. We got, you know, clearance in the rail. So let's do this. If I come over to 2, and down to 2, should be right there. Drop this a little, and just as a pointer, throw this guy in. Alright, I think we look good. Alright, so what we'll do is set up a program real quick. Actually, is this guy fits right here? I just wanted to check something. Alright, set up a program real quick to increment over, see how much I can kind of drill with this support, and then we'll remove this guy. Bring it back. Alright, got it set up here. I just did a quick program. It says step over 60 millimeters, and that's really the nice thing about, you know, ProtoTrack or something like this. It just makes doing repetitive stuff really fast. I set it up to move 60 and then repeat that move 8 times, which I won't even get to because of my setup. But like with a step over 60 millimeters, and it's done, and I can switch back and forth between inches and metric here. And it's just easy. So I did one real quick with the camera off. I didn't realize the camera was off. And I'm using one of these drill tap combos, which is a little risky. But again, I'm trying to go fast and, you know, not spend too much time on this. I don't want to drill all these and then tap them all. I just want to go fast. I could just lay this out by hand and do it with a hand drill, but, you know, this is pretty easy too, especially with the increment on the ProtoTrack. So anyway, I threw this one down. I don't know where my caliber went, but, you know, just double checking. It's about 2. It's in line in the Y. It's over. That's not going to work. This one doesn't have metric either. Well, let me go double check. I'll just use this because I can throw 60. Okay, so we're right there. So it's right. I'm going to do this again and see how sort of working with this drill tap is going. So I'll drill it at a high speed. I'll stop before I get to the tapping part of this combo. I'll throw it in back gear, switch the redirection around, and just feed it by that. It'll just be faster. So let's see. All right, so we got one. There we go. Moving on to the second. Oh, if you're hearing that noise, it's my bottle's just on the handle. That's what's flipping around. Nothing bad. All right. Speed this up a little. All right, so we're on there. Then forward. Not even gonna center drill. I'm just gonna, you know, let this guy start itself. It's brand new, so it's real sharp. And I just gotta make sure I don't, when this breaks through, I don't let it break through to where the threads are. The tap part of this tool is. Okay, let me stop it, throw it in back here. So this is 120 RPM now. Put some love on there. And a little upward pressure from my hand. And now we can move on. Forward, right here. Keep going. I'll bring you back when something interesting happens. Alright, I just got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th hole done, and I can't make the last one. I'm out of travel by just a little bit. I should have set this up a little bit better, and then I would have been able to do them all. Whatever. I could even just put this in here, transfer punch that last one, do it by hand, which is maybe what I'll do. So this has been working great, this drill tap so far. I only bought one of them because I figured if I broke one, I should just do it regular way anyways. So I'll flip it around, do the other side, or not flip it around, but remove it, do the other side, and we'll be done. I'll bring you back a little bit and show you some of those just for content. Okay, all set drilling and tapping those what were they, M4 by 0.7 millimeter holes. And actually, I am good on this other end because I forgot we're going to reuse the center of the 5 hole pattern. So when I drilled and tapped 7 more, that's all I needed. I did 7 over here. We're good to go. I'm gonna clean these up, and we will put it all back together and figure out what we're going to do with the cart. Meet you back over there.